kage mutawuni anomwana gwa waliwo guma kumamyoyo kage mutawuni anomwana gwa esumba byenyo.
Hello once again my people, this is Omwami Omwami, your political analyst for this day, and I'm going to be breaking it down to you, a short analysis as to why we are having the kind of Raila that we are not used to. We are having a man who is making decisions and taking back his words, and we have seen that in the past events whereby we have seen he cancelled the parallel Jamhuri celebrations that were to happen on 12th, and he has chosen to fly out to the United States of America, and he has said that he's going to meet Joe Biden, that is the president of the United States of America. Now, I want to take you back a little bit into a deep insight and research that I've done, and I came to realize that international politics has a lot to do with what we are seeing today in our country. Number one is that the Americans seem to be in Ruto's favor, and you can see that in the past, even before we had our presidential election results, we had a memo that came from the embassy. It was warning the US citizens from walking around Kisumu because it could get volatile at that time, and we dismissed that. And we also came to hear that another memo was released right before the Supreme Court gave its verdict, and again that was a confirmation. So I would like to say that in politics you treat rumors as facts that need interrogation. What am I saying? What I'm saying is that, as it seems, Raila has been summoned by the United States of America, who are in favor of Ruto's administration, and they're going to have talks with him so that he can loosen a bit and let Ruto have his way into the leadership, so that he can work without any sort of interferences. And when I take you back into history, you will realize that there's a time that we had Tom Mboya, we had Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, and we had Johnston Kamau, who is the father of the nation, Jomo Kenyatta. That his real name is actually Kamau. That time we had the Russians backing Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, and we had the Americans backing Tom Mboya. And Tom Mboya is known very well for raising the education of Kenyans by forming an organization that was actually very inclined towards educating Kenyans, young Kenyans at that time. And even I'm sure right now the daughter is still taking care of that organization and airlifting Kenyans to go and study abroad. So through this sort of American versus Russians rushing in to have individuals who could represent their issues, that is international politics, the Russians were backing Jaramogi, and the Americans were backing Tom Mboya. And you know, the British were the people who actually colonized Kenya as a country, and they did not want to lose the grip they had on Kenyans. And they thought of one Kenyatta who they had groomed through education, because Kenyatta was educated in the UK. And he was groomed and made to be a leader, and he was made influential by those can I say the tribulations made him more popular. And the time he was being released, it was a celebration for Kenyans, and he was easily accepted. And now they had to boost the image of Jomo Kenyatta, even by writing him books, making sure he had publications to cleanse him and make him more of an elite. And he went through and he managed to be the president. But you could see that Tom Mboya was coming in to be a problem at that time, because he was gaining popularity and he had the full backing from the United States of America. And we had Jaramogi with the Russians. Now, what am I saying? What I'm saying is that when you look at the history behind our politics, you'll find out that even Raila Odinga was educated in Russia. And Americans right now even in the past, there has been that Cold War between the Americans and the Russians, and there is no day that Americans would let a man who believes in this socialism, Karl Marx kind of ideologies, the socialist kind of ideology, they will not let him rule in a country that they have interests in. And we saw that even with the Congo, where we had Patrice Lumumba, who was actually assassinated politically, and he was eliminated physically, and they used Shombe of Katanga so that they could let in Mobutu Sese Seko rule. And this was done under the UN flag, and this was done under the blessings of the Americans and the Belgians, because he was inclined towards the Russians. So what we're having today in Kenya is a Cold War of the superpowers, and we are only happening to realize what is a proxy effect of a proxy war of these international superpowers, international politics, that is. There is war in between these big superpowers, and now we are having the effects right here in Kenya. So he has been summoned to the US by Joe Biden. According to the statement that I have heard and seen in the media, Raila has to go and visit the US, that is during the Jamhuri celebrations, that is on 12th of December. So it gives me the instinct that Americans had to bring Raila on the table and talk to him, and most likely, and we can see that there is this mutation and a discussion that they will create an office for the former prime minister. And I don't know what they're going to discuss about, but all I know is that they want to make him cool down and let Ruto serve the interests of the Americans and also serve the interests of Kenyans. And that cannot happen with multiple demonstrations and uprisings and uprisals. And that is from my analysis. Thank you so much. This is Omwami Omwami. Till we meet next time. Just expect that Ruto and Raila are going to work together. I say so. Thank you.